Hello, I'm Spades, and like many others, I'm a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, and I thought it could be fun to redesign and reinterpret some of the characters in my own style and vision. I just want to clarify, I think the original designs are iconic, and it's not me saying I could do better. There's a reason why FNAF is so successful in my opinion. This is just for fun, and I'd love to know what you all think about these redesigns in the comments, and if you have any ideas. Without further ado, let us begin. For the designs of the animatronics, I decided to give them like a Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz type of like animatronic rather than what they look like in games, like basing them more in like reality in a sense. Even though this is far from realistic. I gave them like 90s 40s costuming with the way they're dressed, and I tried to just visually make them have more of an identity and cohesion as a band. For Freddy's design, I wanted to lean into the fact he's a big cartoon bear and exaggerated his shape, giving him more of a big goofy smile, stubby legs, and a bulky appearance, almost pear-shaped in a sense. Just making him huggable in some regards, his design being based on Billy Bob from Showbiz Pizza and Baloo from the Jungle Book. I wanted Freddy to be more of a friendly mascot, because he is the main face, and I was like, I wouldn't want Freddy to have a design that makes like a child cry to take a photo with, if that makes sense. Making him more like marketable and appealing while also still keeping that creep factor all the animatronics have. I gave him a top hat with the word Fazbear on it because I saw one of the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics had it, but with Chuck E. Cheese, so I was like taking inspiration from that. I gave him like a top half of a suit because the suit just feels correct for Freddy in my opinion. I know it's not the most creative, but it still works. I kept the deep sunken eyes for all the designs, and for Freddy I gave him these huge claws and just a large mouth and long arms, just to almost keep that creep factor but taking it in a different direction. I gave him like a larger scale than the main three to make him seem bigger and like a scarier threat than the others. And his role would be the same in the actual band, but I think gameplay wise I would change him so you would need to hold him back with the camera somehow. And if he gets to your doors, it would be like game over because he'd use his big bare hands to force the doors open. Overall, I'm really happy with the design. I would hug Freddy, though he would probably crush me. Bonnie, I think I struggled the most with coming up with a concept, but I think he turned out nice. He's still like the same guitarist, but I decided to give him more of like a hair shape rather than a rabbit, because I think it just makes him more visually different than Freddy and kind of adds like a creep factor, because like I feel like rabbits are cute and then hares are like rabid creatures. I love hares, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that would be more threatening. And also because of the eye shape, like his vision is kind of obscured inside his mask, and I thought maybe like if Bonnie can't see properly, he'll take off his mask and do that creepy thing he does in the trailer. We all agree that should happen? I'm so glad we had this talk. I'm sorry. Outfit-wise, I tried to base it off Bonnie's personality from what we got to see in the cartoons from the Ruin trailers. which was like very chill and low-key, so I tried styling his outfit to be formal but more relaxed than Freddy's outfit, giving him like a necktie instead of a bow tie, making his bottom half more baggy, the waistcoat and slacks are like still formal but less formal than a full-on suit. I also made the slacks and waistcoat like reds and the styling to have like more of a U shape near the collar and like chest area. So it kind of looks like Glamrock Bonnie's jumpsuit, but like fancy to almost call back. Well, it would be calling forward to one of his future designs. I just like Glamrock Bonnie, so I wanted to include it somewhere. Also, as you can see in the footage, I struggled to draw Bonnie's guitar, so I gave up and created my own design, making like a carrot like guitar, because I was like, cheesy mascot vibes. Bonnie is just chill. His design is creepy, which is what I wanted, so I'm happy with that. Next we have Chica. This diva. I fear she ate. The original Chica design feels kind of out of place next to Bonnie and Freddy, because she has like a food theme in, kinda. They don't really have themings to say, they're just like kind of stereotypical mascots. But I wanted to make her feel more connected to Bonnie and Freddy, so I made her a showgirl, like a performer, instead of, I guess, chef? Because that's the direction I could have gone with. I'd imagine she would do like backup vocals in the band. With the outfit, I gave her this adorable 40s hair that I saw with like a feather accessory, so it's like chicken vibes, and then gave her like pearls and a dress. I know like hair seems kind of weird to put on like animatronic, but I did it to make her feel more vintage, like the earlier Helen Henny designs and the discontinued characters like Foxy Colleen. I think it's the eyeshadow, but her like design is kind of giving me Yzma. I love it though. It's giving like very diva with the eye shape, and I think it works with like kind of the 40s aesthetic and kind of gives her more of like a personality. I wanted to keep the fact her eyebrows are prominent but not making them as like thick, and I think it kind of works out. I gave her a pizza print on her dress to still include the food theme in, even if it's toned down, and I removed her cupcake. We'll get back to the cupcake, trust. I exaggerated her eyes and talons. I also tried to make her look more chicken-like, but she is forever cursed to look like a duck. I gave her wings like Helen Henny has, so maybe that helps. I also realized as I was writing the script, she kind of looks like Susie, which was accidental but kind of wonderfully twisted, so let's pretend I did that intentionally. Honestly, Chica has one of my favorite redesigns and I'm very happy with the way she turned out. So, I made this creature. It's something. I'm unsure if I should feel fear, laugh, or disgust. I made that. I really did. I feel like once y'all see it, you will understand, at least I hope so. Something about it got me reacting like Brittany Broski trying kombucha for the first time. Anyways, I turned it into a beaver because of the buck teeth, which in retrospect, I should have just left it as the cupcake. But I thought the beaver could be like a cute reference to how Foxy could have been a beaver instead of Foxy in like the early stages of development of the first FNAF game. Like the rest of the characters, I kept the 40s costume in, but like dressed him as like a little sailor uniform. I don't know. Finally, we have Foxy. Foxy is technically the first design that I made, and is the reason we have this video. I was on call with my friends and I just started drawing my own Foxy design. And yeah, so I already knew my idea for him going into this. I based him off Ralph, I think that's how you say it, from Showbiz. I gave him his like rubber mask just so I could make the nose kind of sag and crooked to make him look kind of messed up. This is kind of unrelated, but I realized that like Gmod model of Mangle that's like based off that one fan art is also based on Ralph, which I thought was cool. Sorry, back on topic, Foxy. I imagine this version of the character is like one of the many guests of Fazbear. Basically, in the old Chuck E. Cheese restaurants, they had like guest animatronics who would perform alongside the band, but weren't permanent stays. Foxy could be one of those characters which could explain more of his disconnected theming. Also, going on that, you could probably have like Sparky or even like an earlier version of Roxanne as like other guest animatronics. Anyways, Foxy's outfit, I did like a very stereotypical pirate fit with like a few rips and tears. I left his endo like exposed on his chest and hands to make him look like he's mid-repair. I kinda wished I did more withering, but I think he has a solid design. I think the gold accents look nice with the red. I pretty much just did Foxy, added a bit more pizzazz. He just kinda has more glitter. And there they all are. These were really fun to make, and I think they turned out pretty nice. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and even if my commentary weren't the best, I just thought I'd start off the year with something new. If you'd love to see a follow-up video, please let me know. I do have a few ideas for the toy animatronics, which could be interesting, but you could also suggest other franchises. Thank you all for watching and have a lovely day.